Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about the incredible destruction that Vladimir Putin is currently doing to very specifically to the natural history of Ukraine. All right, so recently I went to Longwood Gardens, and if you don't know what Longwood Gardens is, I'll let you know right now. It actually is a world-class botanical garden that's right in my backyard. It's in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, but it is world-class. It was built by one of the DuPonts, who were massively rich, and the DuPont family, I think to this day, still assists with Longwood Gardens. It's truly one of the most beautiful, stunning gardens I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And my family we have a season pass, which is amazing. So I went to Longwood Gardens, and I listened to all the guides, and I was just kind of walking through the gardens all by my lonesome, right? So I invited everybody in my family, and everybody's like, I got this to do, I got that to do. But the reason why I went to Longwood Gardens is a reason that you need to be thinking about now, just so you're aware. Okay, so I am currently in grieving. So what am I grieving? I am grieving the loss of American security, American wealth, and American hope. That cumulative set, we lost that the day on February 24th when Vladimir Putin massively, directly, aggressively threatened all three, right? And so I'm in grieving over that, right? Now, normally I let my emotions take their run, right? And just, feel your emotions, right? But I pay attention to the world. I pay hyper attention to the world. There's somebody who I respect a lot who once said, if you're a particular type of person, absolutely no discipline, no corner of human knowledge is not your purview. And so I pay attention to psychiatry and psychology. And just this week, they made a major new change. And they said, if you grieve for more than 1 year, you have a mental disorder. I was like, what? So I do not want a mental disorder. And we are coming up on 1 month of grieving, right? So I needed to handle this grief, right? And I talked to a friend of mine, and they said, well, you should get some exercise. And I was like, oh, hey, I could go to Longwood Gardens and just walk around. Maybe that would be a palliative balm, B-A-L-M. We have to be really careful with the word balm now. Thanks, Vladimir Putin, right? Thanks, Putin. Right? It's so frustrating. All right, so he messed everything up, right? That dude has got to get a swift, sound, full 100% defeat, no peace. The guy's got to pay. It's just so frustrating. All right, so I went, and I just kind of went about my way. Well, so I went to their meadow house. They have this gigantic meadow, right? So basically, I walked through the meadow to the house, right? And I get to the house, and there's one of the guides there, and they said, in this room is the natural history of the meadow, okay? And in this room is the human history of the meadow, right? And so basically, in the one room where they had the human history, it was like, this person owned it from this time to this time, and in this time, this person married this person, and it's all this human history, right? But in the natural history of the meadow, they were like, hey, here's the natural history of the meadow. And they were like, there's a fire in the meadow at this time, and it disturbed the nature there, right? And they were like, during this time, a lot of cows were allowed to feed in the meadow, and that disrupted the meadow. But in this 40-year period, the meadow blossomed, and it was able to, just kind of grow, and it was all by itself, and it was preserved, right? It was a preserved meadow, right? And these birds came, and these animals grew in number, and there was a natural history, and it was beautiful, right? So we have got to set a record for everything that Vladimir Putin has done starting on February 24th, and how this really, every day that passes, this is not a Ukrainian problem. This is a world problem. And that the aggressions of Vladimir Putin have gone far beyond Ukraine. Ukraine is feeling his wrath most intensely, but we are feeling his wrath quite directly, right? And so listen to this, right? And it's not just the Ukrainian people who are suffering, right? He is tearing a hole in the natural history of Ukraine, right? Specifically for the animals of Ukraine, right? So right now, Vladimir Putin is destroying the natural history for all the beautiful animals that run across the, the plains and the forests and the mountains and the swamps of Ukraine. All of the tundra wolves, all of the grizzly bears, all of the kangaroos, all of the alligators, all of the marmosets, all of the ocelots that run across the plains and the forests and the swamps and the mountains of Ukraine are disrupted. This is wrong. This is deeply wrong. He has no right to disrupt those Ukrainian animals. It is horrific. It is just terrible, right? And we have to know his villainy knows no bounds. He does not stop. He never, ever thinks about living creatures beyond himself and the oligarchs he serves, right? And this is why he must be soundly, utterly, thoroughly, massively defeated, and not 1 ounce of peace can be handed to him. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.